Hello everyone, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. It's a post Telford Table Talk special this week. Let's get stuck in. Yes, hello everyone, welcome back to Table Talk. My name is Jason, this is Model Kit Stuff, and we're just talking pretty much about Telford in this episode. So last weekend, 2 days at Telford, the first ever social group get together, and lots of other bits and pieces connected to that to talk to. I've got some thank yous to do and so on, and we're going to share with you the haul and the thinking behind them all and so on and so forth. So lots to cover off. In terms of what we've done in the way of videos this week, I don't know at the time I'm recording this. I'm having to record this Monday. I usually do it Wednesday. My Wednesday's not going to be the same because of work commitments. I won't have time to record it later than that and still be able to edit it and get it up on Saturday. So as we're talking Telford, I'm recording this Monday. I don't know what else I'm going to get out during the course of the week in terms of videos, other than you're definitely going to have the Telford post-show review, and there will be a director's cut version for members, which has a little bit more of a personal insight than just the show itself. So I was really happy with the video. Last year's video I wasn't. This year's video is much better. I went back to an older way of doing it, and this time we've done the competition area, which I've never included before. So that was really good, and I think the video gives you a really good feel for what the model show was like. So I did what I said I was going to do. I turned up. I did shopping on the first day. And filming the second day. Well, actually, most of the second day was stills. I did most of my recording, not all of it, but most of it at the back end of the first day. So I think I had about a third of the recording left to do by the second day. So I've edited it together so that it sort of makes sense. So if you started watching the video and for whatever reason you paused it because it was quite a long video and you've not got to the end, the competition area is right at the end. And the competition area gives me some of the reasonings behind next year's group builds. So other than being at the show, I bumped into a lot of you guys at the show, and that was a special treat. So I wanted to start off there if I can. So I want to start with you guys because, as you all know, I enjoy doing this largely because of the interaction it gives me with fellow modelers, and I had a good number of people come up to me, stop me and say really enjoying the show and keep doing what you're doing and all of that stuff. So it's for everyone that stopped me to say hello, a big thank you. It was a real pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for supporting the channel and watching the channel. It means a lot. I managed to catch up with some YouTubers while I was there as well, so I spent a lot of time with Peter Oxley. So we caught up for a coffee towards the back end of me being there on the first day, along with subscriber Jeff, and who I've met before on previous visits to Telford. And then the following day, we caught up with each other quite early on in the morning, Peter and me, and we went round the competition area together actually, which was really interesting. Gary, who many of you will know as Gremlin models, he was with us as well. So yeah, it was quite a nice experience being able to spend some time with people that follow the channel or interact with the channel. I also caught up quite a bit with Sully, so we bumped into each other on the first day, and then we were stood next to each other in the queue on the second day and having a good old chat. So those, if you've not been on Sully's channel, you absolutely should do. He did a meet the creator video on him some time ago when he was fairly new and starting out. You've probably seen his work even if you're not aware of who he is, because he famously did the Airfix helicopter as a chicken coop. I know what his next project is. He was showing me some pictures. It's absolutely fabulous. I can't wait for it to come out. He's just also released the Revell. I'm going to get the aircraft wrong. I think it's the Ardo, German float plane. I think that's what he's just put out just before Telford. That video went out. So yeah, it was really nice catching up with Sully. I've met Sully before, again at Telford, and yeah, so a number of the stands were talking to me as well. So I had a good catch up with Tiger Hobbies, Gary at Tiger Hobbies, which was nice. And it was letting me into some of his insider views of what was going on, which is with some of the industry, which was really, really interesting. So yeah, I got a good appraisal of what's happening on in the modelling world over those 2 days. So yeah, and I think it was one of the better shows I've been to, certainly post-COVID. Although there did seem to be less youngsters there this year, possibly more women. I don't know. It just felt like there was a lot more partners in tow carrying bags. But yeah, a really enjoyable couple of days. So one of the things that I was reminded of whilst I was at Telford by one of the members actually was that we'd been doing membership on this channel now for 12 months. It was November last year that we launched membership. We now have 83 members, and I'm extremely grateful to all of you for following the channel. Over the course of the year, you'll have seen more stuff specifically for members coming out, from a members only group build to some early views of some videos. So lots of things going on. Membership's going to change again in the new year. We've talked a little bit about that. We'll talk more about it a bit closer to the time when I finalise those details. I should get a bit more of a view of that over the next week or two anyway. So yeah, a year of membership. We now have 83 members, and I'm very grateful to all of you. And just a quick reminder, if you have joined as a midshipman and you're paying the $4.99 a month, you're entitled to join the social group. So drop me an email with the information on, as per the little instruction video when you join, so that I can send you a link to get you into the social group. You will enjoy it. We talk about modelling, we share our builds, but we also talk about other stuff, you know, where we're going on holiday, what the weather's like, you know, that sort of stuff. And because we've got people from the US, the UK, and wider Europe, it's really interesting to see how other people are dealing with life, modelling, and so on. So yeah, it's a really friendly group. It's not like other parts of Facebook where modelling groups can be, let's just say there can be people there who are a little bit competitive or want to come across as knowing stuff that perhaps they don't know as much of as they'd like to think. It's just a really nice, friendly group. Everyone gets on with each other. Everyone encourages each other. It is a really pleasant place, and I enjoy trolling through the posts and stuff. And you get to see what I'm working on ahead of even on Table Talk, because I pretty much post as I do. So people, for example, saw the completed Panzer 1, Tamiya Panzer 1 2 months ago, maybe, and it's not, you know, I only showed it completed last week, didn't I? So you do keep up with what's going on and keep a bit closer to the channel. and there's more member stuff coming over the next 12 months. So yeah, plenty to think about. So yeah, the channel's doing well, and that's been reflected in the time it takes me to get around Telford, because people want to say hello, and you know, I really appreciate that. Now, some people have given me gifts, and I want to just deal with that before we go and deal with the other stuff about Telford. A big thank you to John Christmas for your gift. I'm not going to mention what that was, but it was very appreciated. I also got a gift from Phil Jolly. Now, he's a long-time subscriber of the channel. 2 gifts, actually. He's gifted me some flying hours, which, you know, he said he's never going to use, so I might as well use them, so that's very nice. But he's also gifted me this, which is still in its original bag. You'll recognise it instantly as Airfix from the colour of the grey-blue plastic. This is Mark 1 Escort in 1:32 scale. So the story goes that some guy has been selling these off after getting rid of the boxes to try and create space for the stash, therefore wiping out the value. So Phil has very kindly gifted this to me, and I'm very grateful. I'll tell you now, Phil, what my plan is to investigate whether I can get decals to turn this into an Escort Mexico. I really like to build it as a Mexico, and you know, put the extra lamps on front and make it a bit rally-like. Mark 1 Escort's got quite a rally pedigree. If not, we might find some other decals to turn it into a rally car. But yeah, I think we will have a bit of fun with that. And actually, the kit looks to be not too bad. All in all, it does have an engine, and it does have wheels and stuff, and it comes with all the usual things we'd expect from a vintage Airfix kit. So I'm guessing the fit will be a bit rough, the parts will be a bit oversized, but the fun level will be quite high. So, good friend of the channel has gifted me a kit, and I feel pretty bad about it. And I'm sure he's going to put a comment saying, so you should. And he'd be quite right. A little while ago, I purchased a Matchbox 1:32 scale Tiger Moth, and I said to Peter, would you like to review it? And of course he said, yes please. He's never reviewed the Tiger Moth before. There was actually one for sale in Telford on one of the used kit sites, and I did tell him about it, so whether he had a look, I don't know. But what I'd said is that next time I saw him, I'd bring the Tiger Moth along and he could borrow it. And I completely forgot. And so I didn't take it to Telford, and therefore Peter's not got it. It's still in my attic. And Peter, I think, I don't know for sure, but I think, expecting that I might bring this Tiger Moth, which we'd talked about, and in my defence, he didn't remind me, so not that that's much defence at all. He brought this, and I think this was a thank you for lending me the Tiger Moth. And it's ended up being, well, you can now do a comparison of this against the Matchbox one, which we will do, because that's what I've said I'll do. So it'd be nice to have a look in this kit. It'd be nice to compare it to the Matchbox one. I know Peter will enjoy that. So Peter, I'm extremely grateful for this, really, really grateful for this. And we will do, as you've asked, the comparison video, and I'm really sorry I forgot to bring the Tiger Moth kit. It's just old age. Right then, as we're talking about forgetting things, you will remember before Telford I drew up a list of suppliers I wanted to go and see, and we talked through them. I had a bit of a problem reading the list when I was in Telford. The problem appeared to be that I was in Telford and the list was on my desk here in the kitchen, and so that it proved difficult for me to read it, and remember what was on there. So I have subsequently, since coming back yesterday, had a look at the list to see what I forgot. And I have annoyingly forgotten one thing that I really wanted to check. But I thought it'd be worth just going through the list and talking about it, because there's a couple of little interesting things on here. So reserving a 132 scale Mustang from Zukimura. Well, that was a complete disaster, because it turned out that Zukimura didn't have the Mustang. And that part of their webpage shouldn't have been up and functioning. So I've been able to go in and pre-order something. I had said it, I was feeling a bit twitchy that I hadn't had a response. So when I got there and spoke to them, they knew nothing about it. They weren't doing any reservations for the show this time round. So I was a bit deflated, but I did buy... I was going to say I did buy something from them. I actually bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items from them. One of which I'm going to have to now give away. So keep listening for that. Right then. So that was a complete disaster. Second was Yanks. I did go to Yanks, and that went very well. Well, unless you're my bank manager. Model cars didn't appear to show. There was a couple of desk areas where no one had set up, so a couple of people hadn't shown for whatever reasons. I suspect model cars were one, because I couldn't find them. KFS, I said I wanted to look at the multimedia lorry. They had the lorry that I wanted, that's not been on their website for a while. Had a look at it, decided it wasn't worth the money. It was a very, very expensive kit, close to £200. It was in a scale that I wouldn't really want to build for that sort of lorry. I'd really want 135, and it was 124 or 42, something like that, I don't know. But when I looked at it, I decided it wasn't best value for my money. So KFS, I changed my mind on that. From models, I had a browse from there, didn't end up buying anything. Friendship models, had a browse there, didn't end up buying anything, though they had a really good collection. Fox Hot models, they're the people I've missed, and I did see them, but actually I wanted to get some jerry cans, water and petrol cans, and forgot. So I'm going to have to go on their website and order some, because I want them for the Stalwart. And we'll talk about the Stalwart in a minute as well. A Land 13. I wanted to get the 124 Pilot with dog figure, which I thought would go really nice with my Airfix Spitfire. Completely forgot about that, but I did buy something from them. I will show you that in a mo. Dynamo models, I browsed, lovely figures, didn't end up buying anything. Edward, it was just chaos, and you just couldn't get in. There was a massive queue. Typical as always, they put all their stuff in boxes and they leave 1 or 2 brochures at the front. Brochures is a strong word. Stapled together A4 page with a list on that you can't make head nor tail of, and there's only like 2 of them, and there's 10 people trying to read it. It's just a nightmare, and I'm not going to go and flick through all the boxes on the off chance that they've got seat belts for the Jag. So I didn't even bother with Edward. Deluxe materials, I didn't get the Brush Magic, I forgot about that, but I did get the Making Waves product, so that's okay. And we had a look at Armoury models, didn't purchase anything. That's the list done. I think we'll start with some of the product purchases and give you a feel for what we got. So I said I was after Making Waves, so that's it there. The reason why I'm interested in this product is you can shape it and it dries clear. So it's great for doing things like icicles, waterfalls, that sort of stuff on dioramas, but also I could do potentially splashes. I want to see if I can do splashes, so that will allow me to do, when I come to do the War of the Worlds diorama with the Thunderchild in the process of being melted by the heat ray, we can do some splashes, because my intention is to show one of the Martians just been cut down by the Thunderchild, and another Martian with the heat ray on the Thunderchild. So it's going to be a visually quite violent seascape. So being able to sculpt water splashing everywhere is going to be a really interesting thing to see if we can pull off. So yeah, that is the plan with that. So it comes in a fairly small pot, but if you're doing like a big seascape, you only need a layer on the top, enough to be able to mould it. So how far it go, I don't know. Can always buy more. It's 100 mils in here. So yeah, we'll give it a go, have a play with it, see if it's fit for purpose or not. Yeah, should be fun. So that was the first product we got. I did manage to get some decals. I didn't get flame decals, but I did manage to get some decals with like pinstripes and that sort of stuff, which should look nice on some of the builds I've got planned and that you will see in a short while. So I got that. I also got some other car bits. So I got some hot rod turned metal polished aluminium headlamps, which come with separate lenses. So they're really nice. I like those. They should look fairly good. And I got some roadster wheels. So these are 3D printed, and what you've got is wider back wheels to narrow front wheels, but with the steel wheels with hubs. So for like a 1930s converted to hot rod type thing. So I thought that was fairly cool. Now on the Zukimura stand, I bought a couple of tools. I bought a pair of nippers just to have a play with them and have a trial. So yeah, they call them the Pro Series. What I like is the handle shape there. So you can see there it has a little lump on it, which helps with grip, allegedly. And the size of the blades. But I think they're double-edged nippers, which I've moved away from because the single cutting nippers tend to give you a flatter surface. You don't get that pinch that two blades give you. So I'm interested to see how these turn out. And as we're talking, I'm just going to check whether it is, because I've not looked at this. It also comes with a spare spring, which is interesting. So I don't know whether that's because the spring's naff or to extend the life. But yeah, it is. It's a double-bladed nipper. Yeah, interesting. And it actually doesn't have a flat edge on this back end. So we will review that and see what we think. I've got several nippers I can compare it to, and I tend to get a new pair of nippers once a year as a rule, and sort of keep my sharp for best and keep my less sharp for thicker sprues and stuff like that. So we got that. So that's a tool review coming up, and then I got this thing, which looks a bit like a Japanese samurai sword. And I've not opened this yet, although I did have a play with it on the stand towards the back end of Sunday when they were a bit quieter, and I was quite impressed with it. It's actually a tool for seam scraping. So it's, he said soft steel, but mild steel, with a hardened layer into it. So it's folded like a sword blade. And it comes with this protective cover, and it's got a thread grip, which you can see there, and then you've got this sort of blade which you can sharpen, whetstone, dry stone. It is absolutely razor sharp. Now you know that I use these photo etch scrapers, and I'm often asked, oh, where'd you get those scrapers from? And unfortunately you can't get them anymore. So I thought it'd be handy to be using a tool, so that when I'm asked where did you get that tool from, I can say, oh, it's a Zukimura tool, and then people can go and find it. So yeah, it's a nice nice looking product, feels comfortable in the hand. We will do a tool review and see what we think of it. So that was tools and products. I do have a couple of other products, but we'll show you that with the kits that they sort of are aimed at. Right then, shall we go through the haul, because there's a little bit of something for everyone in this year's haul. Right then, let's go through the purchases, and what I'd like you to remember is that what you see here in front of you is all about you. I buy these things not for me, they're for you, so you can see the kit reviews, you can see the builds, and you know, everything that you see here at some point you're going to come across on the channel one way or another. Some of these things are new, some of these things are a bit different, some of these things are a little bit more of the same. I'm going to run you through them all, but remember, I had to bring these into the house with the lady of the house watching by, clocking everything, you know, in her head. It's all stored there for later use, and I do that and I go through that for you. Okay, so bear that in mind. Right then, shall we start? We're going to start with the most unusual purchase, actually. This bag contains 4 model kits. They're all the same. They're 1/72 scale, and they're from a company I've never come across before called the Table Workshop. And what I've got in here is 4 Mark II Matildas. The idea of these is actually for tabletop gamers, but the level of detail in these was incredible. I saw some built up. They were really, really, really nice. Fairly simple to construct, so slab sides with all the wheels and tracks moulded into place. But you've got separate turrets and guns and little figures, commanders and drivers and stuff. And you know, there's even detail underneath, rivet detail and stuff. Not oversized, very nicely done, captures the model really nice, and when painted up they look great. And I thought, well, if you like building 1/72 scale, I mean, this was 25 quid. That's 4 kits for 25 quid. So you can very quickly and easily do 4 Matildas coming down a hill, crossing the desert or whatever. Yeah, they had a little range of stuff. They're in their sort of early years of manufacture, I guess. They come with great painting instructions. I guess, I've not opened this yet, I guess there is build instructions in there as well, and it looks like we've even got decals for them, which is incredible. So yeah, so we'll be doing a review of these. I'm going to build one ready for the review, so I'm going to knock one together. I'm not going to paint it, I'm just going to build one so you can see what it looks like built up. And then we can review one of the other sprues, because like I say, there's 4 in here. And then I'm probably gonna give the other sprues away to anyone that's interested. So if you're a 1/72 scale builder, when I do the review for this, look out, because we'll be mentioning in that video that the others are to be given away. So if you're interested in having a try, you can. I did say to Table Workshop that I will do the review, and that I will then let them know so they can see that. But yeah, I was really impressed. And you know, 1/72 scale isn't a scale for me anymore. I prefer bigger scales for various reasons, but this I think is something that the 1/72 boys shouldn't miss. So I thought it'd be nice to do that on the channel. So that was the first thing. I'm just going to go through the pile closest to me. So you know, I've been getting a little bit more interested in cars recently, and I did set out on a mission to get myself some cars in the stash. I've scratched that itch now, possibly, and I've got a range of cars, so that when I finish a car, I've got choice when I'm ready to do the next car. So this was a bit of a weird one. I don't know whether it was the flames that drew me to this. I don't know. So it's a 57 Chevy. And it's from a company called Atlantis. So I've never had one of their kits before, so it'll be interesting to have a look. It's in 1:25 scale. Yeah, so it's got clear parts, chrome parts, white plastic parts, I think. It says made from the original vintage molds. So I don't know whether Atlantis have been making for a long time or what, but it seems to have updated decals with it. So you could probably build it in the sort of the stock format, and then you've got this where you can mess around with it, and it's got pan printed white wall tyres. So I just thought it was different because it's not the usual saloon type, with it being a station wagon, and I like the big 50 style fins, so I thought that would be a bit of fun. So that's why we got that. Let me put that to one side. Sticking with cars for a minute, and then we'll change up a little bit. Right, so this is a Revell kit, and once again, I've never built a Revell kit that I recall. There's a possibility I built the ZZ Top Eliminator back in the 80s. That may have been a Revell kit. I remember it being fairly basic, but yeah. Anyway, what I got was a 37 Ford pickup. Now I can build this stock, or I can build it, well, there's options for decals for 4 different options across 2 different paint schemes. This version on the box is like a surf shop, and it actually comes with a surfboard, and the colours on there are actually decals. So yeah, the moulding in here is, I've had a quick peek, is more crisp than I'm used to on car kits. There's a bit of a bigger level of detail. There's more chrome parts, and the chrome parts are crisper, and some of those have got sprue gates on the sandable surfaces, so you will be able to use them as chrome parts. Others don't, and comprehensive decals. So this looks like quite a nice kit. Get quite a bit of spares out of this as well. There was a lot of tyres in here and different wheels and stuff. So yeah, and yeah, you've got the ability to build the engine up in 2 different ways as well. So yeah, I think it could be a lot of fun, and I might do a combination of both, and maybe we might do some modifications to it. I don't think I'm going to do any of the paint schemes, but I might keep the decals for other things. Don't know yet. Do not know. But yeah, that was interesting. Now, I know not a lot about cars, if I'm honest, particularly American cars. So when I'm shopping for cars, what I'm really looking at is the shape, the look, and do I think I could do something fun with it? And that was very much the case with this 64 hardtop customizing kit. So it's a Marauder fastback, and actually you can build this kit in one of 3 different ways. The thing I really liked about it actually was the back end of it. Look at that. So 64, I mean, that looks so 60s. It looks a bit Thunderbirds to me. So I thought we could have a lot of fun with that. So there's a custom version, a stock version, and then this sort of fastback version. So yeah, I thought, again, because it's 3-in-1, there's loads of spares coming out of this as well. So you're building up the spares collection. And it's got a new decal sheet, so you can do it as a race car version as well, I think. So that just struck me as being a lot of fun and value for money, because it's 3-in-1 with loads of spares left over. Right, this next one I nearly bought at Telford last year, and I ummed and ahed on it, and I didn't. And this year, with my headspace being a bit more in the car frame, I spotted it, and rather than having a big stack and pile of them like they had last year, there was only 2 or 3 of them, and it might have been what they had left over from the show last year. But this really appeals to me. So this is a car that's not made of tin or fiberglass. It's canvas. All of the skin is canvas. It's from the 1950s when, people were looking for cheap transport post-war. So I think it's French, or it might be Italian. I'm not sure, but I think it's French. Just an interesting little three-wheeler sort of affair. Very unusual looking, and it's actually a kit made by Ask Distribution, the people that make the saws. So I bought it. I can't remember how much it was. It wasn't much, but they now do a trailer for it, which looks a bit like a Vespa, or half of a Vespa. So I bought that as well. There's one little sprue in there which will connect to it. So we've got that. So it's tiny. It'll be a really fun build, a really small build. It's just injection molded. There's nothing fancy in there. Oh, there might be 3D printed parts. I'm not sure. But I thought this would be a bit of fun, and it's certainly something a bit different, and I do like that. Now, I said I wanted to get a pilot from Milan, and I completely forgot about the pilot, so I didn't look for him. But I had seen when I was on the website having a look, this futuristic science fiction person on a hover bike. So looks like a Vespa, but it hovers rather than having wheels. So this is all 3D printed. So the figure and the bike is in there, not the base. So you've got to do something with the base. I'm not sure if that's a bottle or something she's holding up, but I thought it might be nice to convert it into a selfie stick or something like that. It just spoke to me as being something a little bit different, and therefore probably a little bit fun. Why not? Something different. It's another fully 3D printed kit. So is that my second fully 3D printed kit now? No, I've got a third, and that's the next kit. So that I'm happy with because it's a bit different. This is a bit different too. Queen Zenobia. Who? It's not a fantasy piece. She's an actual person. She's a Syrian queen who defeated the Romans and took control right the way up to Egypt, had control of a large swathe of North Africa. As a queen, her husband died, and then she helped her sons rule. So someone I've read about in the past, quite some time ago. Not a subject or a person that I think a lot of people are even aware of these days. So absolutely an interesting figure. So it's the Syrian queen on a horse. This is all 3D printed as well. This does come with the base. And it just spoke to me. It wasn't cheap, 60 quid, but cheaper than if it had been resin. If it had been resin, I reckon that would have been closer to 90. So yeah, the quality of it looks quite nice. I did have a quick look in this. This was my last purchase at the end of the show, to be honest. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what this looks like built up. So we'll be doing a review of that very soon as well. But a nice kit, and it's part of a series of 4. The others being a fighter on a camel, a Roman legionary, and an Aurelian general. So all to do with the Syrian, North African, Roman wars. Brilliant. And something a bit different for the channel. Right then, back to the cars for a minute. This I absolutely loved the look of. So it's a 29 Model A Roadster. This is a 2-in-1 kit, so you can build it one of two ways. Both of them being a form of Roadster. I just love the look of that. And you can imagine it with maybe a bit of a rust patina and what have you. You could seriously have some fun with that. Shows you on the box there 2 different ways you could build it, but we could have a play with it and do something else. It's absolutely crying out for some flames or a skull or something on there. We'll have to have a see. It's unlikely that I'll end up doing it black, although the black does look nice on it. We might, I don't know what we'll do, but I think we might do it metallic. Maybe metallic purple would look nice. I don't know. We'll have a play come the time. But yeah, another Revell kit. So the part quality in here will be better than, you know, the AMT standard that I'm sort of used to with cars. So yeah, a couple of different steering wheels, different ways of building up the engines, different wheels, loads of chrome parts in this thing again. So could be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's why that spoke to me. Now, I'd said to you that I'm sort of quite interested in muscle cars, but what seems to have happened is when I've actually looked at them, it's more roadsters and hot rods that I've actually ended up picking up, which is really interesting, isn't it? Now, I bought this, the 34 Ford, for a specific job. I can't find the ZZ Top Eliminator anymore, but this is a very, very similar kit. It does have one or two differences. That panel there is very different, so that needs reworking. The wheels are different as well, so whether I can work around that, I don't know. But I've sort of, in my mind, could turn this into the ZZ Top Eliminator, maybe. Again, this is a 2-in-1 kit, so you can build it as the stock version as well as the Roadster version. It's an AMT kit. So it's a little bit crude around the edges, but and a little bit simplified, but it looks very nice. So and it was a bit cheaper than the standard price. This was 30 quid, so it was about 25% cheaper than the norm for car kits. And when I thought about it, car kits are really expensive compared to other genres, because you're not getting a lot of plastic parts in here for 40 quid, and quite often they're really, really aged as well. And I just thought, you know what? We moan a lot about the price of some of these aircraft kits that we buy, but if you build just cars, then manufacturers are taking the mickey a little bit, I think. Anyway, not the last vehicle, but the last car to show you. And it's almost the same, 32 Ford Coupe, AMT Ertl. So what the original kit was, I don't know. Again, it was 30 quid. It's a slightly different version. It's got different wheels. It does have the decals, so you can do this particular paint scheme, which I think looks quite nice, but I might not do the red at the back end. Again, we could go something like a metallic green or something like that. I don't know. But I just thought we could have a bit of a play with that and do something a little bit different. We could maybe even cut the roof off and make it a convertible or something like that. But yeah, one of these kits will end up with those hot rod wheels on the 3D printed ones. So yeah, don't know. But yeah. I thought this was quite a nice eye-catching kit, and I like the flames. So that's 2 cars with flames on that I've ended up buying. Yeah, so I've ended up with cars, but not really the cars I thought I'd be buying, which is really interesting. Right then, so I've already explained that things didn't go to plan Zukimura-wise, but a kit that I've been after for a long time, I've been able to buy at a reduced price, although there was a rumour going around, and two separate people told me this, that Zukimura were actually charging more than the standard price. Now, I don't know if that's the standard price on their website before you add shipping, or whether that's the standard price if you buy it in the UK from a retailer. I really don't know. But all the prices on the Zukimura stand had markdowns on them. So whether they'd overinflated then to show a markdown and it was just taking it back to retail price, there was definitely someone else doing that in the kit selling business, which is a bit naughty, I think. Anyway, don't know. It costs a lot of money for them to get over there, so I could sort of understand it. But anyway, I've been after this for a long time. So this is the 1/48 scale HO229 or Horton. And just like the larger scale 132 scale, it's got the full interior and everything. There's a nice picture of it stripped down there. Very, very, very detailed kit. This might be the first one I build, because that's my fourth kit now, and it may well be the first one I build. Now, I did buy some extras for it, so you can buy all sorts of little extras. I didn't buy them all. I didn't get the guns and pit-up tube. You know, I thought the plastic ones would probably be good enough, or I could fabricate a pit-up tube myself. But I did buy metal struts for her. So we've got metal wheel struts, and I also bought 3D printed or resin wheels. So it'd be interesting to see how they compare to the plastic wheels and whether I think they give you an advantage or it's just a gimmick. And then mistakenly, I bought upgrade set for the cockpit. And what I was doing was that HR229, yeah, I'll have that. But this is 132 scale, and I don't have the 132 scale kit. So if you've got a 132 scale kit and of this, and you would like what is essentially the Eduard photo etch set for it, drop me an email, and you can have it for the cost of postage. You know, it cost me £12, or the channel £12, but if you pay for postage, you can have it. Yeah, it's not worth me selling it on eBay or anything like that, so I'd rather it went to someone who actually has the kit, and they can use it. So yeah, it is what it is. I think it was my second to the last purchase. I bought this on day one, and then I bought these bits at the back end of the last day, and I think I was just a bit tired and wasn't focused. But anyway, there you go. Right, ship lovers, I have a number of them that follow this channel, because I'm still principally a ship modeler. You wouldn't believe it, but I am. Now, I was talking to Tiger Hobbies, had a really good chat with him, and he was saying these kits are really, really good. So I thought, oh, okay, well, and it's definitely a part of the modelling genre that is a gap. Cold War ships is a gap. Falklands and what have you, definitely a gap. And then on the next stands up, this was being shown in its exploded kit form, so you could have a play with all the sprues, and the detail was stunning, and the radars are 3D printed, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get it. I can't remember how much it was now, but yeah, this is a really nice kit, and it's from a company I've not reviewed before called 4Art. So you can get these through Tiger Hobbies in the UK at this moment in time, but I've purchased this so I can do a review. Has a fair amount of photo etch with it. It's 1/350 scale, and one of my members had been having a chat with me about maybe doing a 1/350 scale build again, which I do intend to do once the Scharnhorst is built, and we talked about that. So yeah, I think that's really nice. So HMS Coventry, Type 42 guided missile destroyer. I do have one of these in resin as a Shelf Queen, so it'd be interesting to see how it compares. Right, don't let that go to sleep, because I'm loading up my Telford after show. There's 2 Telford videos coming out. There's a standard one for everyone, and then there's a director's cut for members only. So look out for them. Right, this is a very interesting kit. So, not really into airliners, but this caught my eye because it's quite good looking. This is from a manufacturer in Ukraine, and it's 1:144 scale, which is a standard scale for airliners, which means this is tiny, but it has over 100 parts in it. Now I know what you're thinking. You're going to go, oh yeah, it's a fret of 60 parts on photo etch, which, you know, are really, really tiny, and actually there's only 7 plastic parts in it and that sort of stuff. There is no photo etch in this. There's over 100 plastic parts in this 1:144 scale kit. I mean, the airline when built will be smaller than this box. It will be that big, wingspan that big, over 100 parts. You know, I mean, even if you go, well, let's break down the propellers into each individual blade. What have you got? 4, 8, 16 parts there, just for that. So where are the rest of the parts going? It doesn't actually have, I think the nose, the cockpit, is a clear part, but the rest of the windows are all decals. So it's not glazing for the windows either. So really interesting. Over 100 parts. So I'm really interested to build that at some point. It's going to be tiny, but could be fun. Right, last thing to show you. Copper State Models was there. They doubled the size of their stand from last year, so they'd obviously gone with intent. They had a lot more stock than last year, and they cleared tons of it. They definitely had a good show. I got this. I do like their armoured vehicles. I love the top rail on it. It just had a different look. So I didn't get an aircraft this time. I went for another armoured vehicle. So I've not looked inside it, but I know they're lovely kits. I was talking to someone and they were going, I don't know whether to get one or not. I said, look, Copper State Mods are here. Go and, they're great kits, lovely instructions. You won't regret it. He said, I've seen some built up and they look great. So yeah, there you go. That was my purchases. Which is my favourite purchase? I don't know. I'm happy with all of them. I'm really intrigued by some of them, but I think that's the one I'm looking forward to building the most, the little hover bike, because it's just so much fun. It's got a sort of futuristic, maybe a little bit steampunk vibe to it, don't know. But yeah, definitely something that will be fun to build. Okay, so I said that the group builds next year, I've been sort of influenced by Telford this year, and that's true and true-ish at the same time. So it was really interesting. I was talking to the members in the evening. So we'd gone out for, we'd all met at this pub, and we had, I think everyone turned up for something to eat, actually. So we had something to eat and we were having a chat. And one of the things that I was talking about with one of the members was why so many people build models on their own. So when we do the showcase at the end of the year, we see lots of models that are built and just displayed on their own as an individual model. No base, no setting, no scene, just a model. And I had a theory, and they basically agreed with the theory, that we've got a massive stash and we can see time's running out and the stash is getting bigger and you can't build them all. So a quick way of getting through them is just to build it, put it to one side, build the next one, rather than spend the time doing a diorama. It's too time consuming, I'll never get through my stash. And that sort of mindset. The problem with that is it's not as rewarding. And a model is at its best when it's telling a story. And when it's on its own, it's not telling a story. So I wanted to ensure that next year we challenge people to tell the story. Now, you've heard me say many times on my build videos that I like to animate a model wherever I can. It really helps understand the context and, you know, what it's all about. So that's my challenge for you for next year. And we were talking about this and you know, what are your thoughts for the group build next year? I was asked, and I said to the members that were there, yeah, it's going to be called something like In Context. And you can have some real fun with that. So you can build a model. I gave them the example. I could build a GTO, and on its own, it's a 1965 GTO. But if I then put it on a base and put a modern woman figure, and she's toting a gun and she's clearly a gangster, it completely changes the story. Okay, so this is now a classic car, not a 1965 car, it's a classic car. Maybe it's been souped up a little bit. Maybe that's why it's got a different paint job. This is her car and she's an assassin or whatever it's going to be. Suddenly there's a story. And what was fascinating for me was the models that were picking up golds and silvers and highly commends, they all had a base. They all had something that helped set the context of the model. And there's a lot of really good modelers out there that send in the models, and I know that if we had a little bit of a setting, it would just tell the story more. So that's my challenge. Next year's group build is going to be about context, and how you go about that is up to you. Putting a figure with it, putting it on a base, putting it in a setting, painting it differently. I mean, we saw an X-wing fighter painted in Second World War British fighter colours, for example. Just a little bit of context, something that helps tell the story. But I've also decided we're going to change timings, and the reason for that is this year the group builds have really interfered with my build progress, particularly on the Scharnhorst, because I've had to then go and build. So what I'm going to do is, rather than say, right, okay, this group build's running and you've got 6 months, and this one's running for 12 months, and then we've got a members one, we're going to launch them all in January, and they're going to all run for a year. So you're going to have group builds that run all year. No time pressure, none of this nonsense of rules that, I've done it, but I've done it because they're always like that. That's how group builds work. But rule book over my shoulder. What we're going to do is we're going to have a members only group build, we're going to have a floaty things group build, and then we're going to have the anyone can enter group build. We're going to have 3 group builds. They're all going to launch in January. So that means that the members group build will double up, because we've already got a members group build going, which is the wheelie things. So for a period of time till the end of March, we'll have 2 members group builds running. The reason for doing that is you need a little bit more time if you're going to do a small diorama, vignette, a little bit of scenery, put a model in context. It will take a bit more time. So I'm going to give you that extra time. It also means that you can plan your build in line with other builds that you've got planned during the year. And I know some of you join other channels, group builds and things like that. So that allows you to fit your build in and amongst other things. It means you can plan early in the year and, pause it, build it. You've got lots of time. So there's that reason. Floaty things, I think, has been popular. So we're going to carry that on. And that's going to run all year like it has done this year. So I think in next week's table talk we will talk more about timings for closing off the 2025 group builds and when to start sending your stuff in for the showcases. Please don't send them in yet, because I'll lose them and forget about them. So yeah, that's sort of where I am. I think we're going to do the group builds a bit differently, and it'll be a lot of fun. Keep that loading up. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's probably it for this week. I'm still a little bit tired from the weekend, but you've now got a view of the show. It was a really great show. I really enjoyed it. A lot of it is the same. Some of the SIGs, they look the same every year. I mean, there's a Navy SIG, and you get the feeling it's just one guy in his private collection, and it's there every year, and it looks the same every year. It's laid out the same every year. you know. So there's some bits you just skim past after a while, but there was other stuff that I hadn't seen before, and some models that I've seen for the last couple of years that clearly weren't there this year. So it's always a bit different. I really enjoyed it, and I especially enjoyed talking to the people that took the time to say hello and have a chat with me. So yeah, it was a really nice show, and if you've never been before, then plan for next year. I've already booked my hotel for next year. I'm going for 2 days again next year. It was a lot of fun. Let's do it again. So that's it for this week. Until next week, you enjoy your modelling. Bye for now.